Hello, Ashley.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Wheeler.
Iris, I appreciate your being able to see me on such short notice.
I always enjoy seeing Ashley, and it did sound important.
I'm concerned about Ryan Connor. There are some serious things going on. I think you should know about them.
Why don't we sit down?
Would anybody like anything cold to drink?
Not for me, Vivian.
No,
Thank you.
Ryan and I have been at odds with each other for some time now. I've made no secret of the fact that I think he pushed Alex too hard, but the last time we discussed it, you defended him, so...
Well, that was before I found out what happened, Iris, on the day that your husband died.
Mrs. Wheeler, you remember that last day, Mr. Wheeler asked me to come in. He had some business matters he wanted to discuss.
Yes, darling, I know, but you were only doing your job.
Ashley made a tape recording of a conversation with
that's
Alex.
Standard practice.
Iris, I think you'd be interested in hearing the tape.
It may be very difficult for you.
I want to hear it.
Well, I've been reading some wonderful things about you, Billy Joe.
Oh, yeah? Where'd you hear that?
Billboard, the trade papers.
You read those things?
Everybody in the music business reads them if they're serious.
Well, yeah, I read them from time to time.
Well, it sounds to me like you found the pot of gold at the end of your rainbow.
Yeah, I found it. And I lost it again.
Well, that record of Elena Decker's must have done pretty well, even if it isn't on the charts anymore.
Did all right, only we made a lousy contract. I'm not going to make a whole lot of money from it.
Well, I'm sure her next record's going to be even better.
There might not be a next record.
Why not?
Elena doesn't seem to want to perform anymore.
Oh, I read about all those terrible things that kept happening to her. Poor thing, it sounded like she was caught in the middle of some awful movie.
I'd just soon not talk about it anymore, Ruby, if you don't mind.
You and Elena have a falling out?
No, we didn't have no falling out.
Well, then what are you moping around like this for?
I got a lot of different reasons.
Well, it's obvious that I got here just in the nick of time. Seems to me that you could use some help from your little sister.
Ruby, how long are you going to be in Houston?
Just as long as I'm needed.
Where you plan on staying while you're here?
Well, I'm going to stay with you, of course.
Look, I told you before, I ain't turning myself in, so you might as well just forget about that idea.
Joe, if Dennis could get out in 2.5 years, so could you.
Oh, dream on. He had one of the best lawyers in Texas.
I bet Stryker would be willing to handle you, especially if it would mean that Dennis would go free.
You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Dennis Carrington comes from one of the big society families. He's got loads of connections. I mean, they'd get me in court there, and I'd be in prison for 20 years.
But I would do everything I could to see that that wouldn't happen to you, Joe.
You're awfully sweet. But you're awfully naive, too. People like me don't stand a chance in this world. I mean, even if I hadn't done all the things I've done, they'd get me anyhow for standing on the corner or something. No, I can't turn myself in. And I can't wait for somebody to find me here. I got to get away.
Joe, I cannot let you do this. If you won't turn yourself in, I will.
Did you really do that?
I don't want to. But, Joe, I can't stand by and watch you send an innocent man to prison.
I thought you cared about me.
Joe, I do care about you. I care about you a lot. But don't you see, that's why I can't let you do this. Now, you've got to turn yourself in.
Well, then I got to get that money back.
Joe.
No, listen to me. If I can get that money back, then I can get out of the country, I can go wherever I want, the cops won't find me. Then I can send you a signed confession, and you can take it to this Stryker Bellman.
You promise?
Yeah, I promise.
Jeff, oh, you won't be sorry, I promise you. Then you're doing the right thing. Oh, Joe, we'll go away together.
Mrs. Wheeler.
I'm all right. Why did you wait until now to tell me about this?
I didn't want to upset you, and I knew it would affect you. I just didn't know when the right time would be.
So, she told me, Iris, and I suggested that the right time was now. You have every right to know how much Alex loved Dennis. He was so proud when Dennis acknowledged him as his father.
Yes. He was happier than I've ever seen him.
That was Dennis's greatest gift, Iris. Alex spent 25 years building an empire. That was his gift to Dennis. If Alex hadn't died, Dennis would be running World Oil now.
Those were Alex's wishes. They should be fulfilled.
Alex's wishes died with him, Iris.
Well, that can't be true. His words are right here on this tape.
I was just as concerned as Ashley about what your reaction to this tape would be, so I stopped by and talked to Stryker. He said that since Alex had never signed a new will, that the old one would remain in effect.
But Alex made it perfectly clear that he intended to give the company to Dennis.
It's the law, Iris.
It isn't fair.
I agree. I think that the only person that would agree that it is fair is Ryan Connor, because he still controls World Oil.
He was the last person to see Alex alive.
I know. I can only guess what Alex and Ryan talked about. Changing the will. That's probably why he asked to see him.
Well, I believe I'd better have a talk with Ryan.